Downward Spiral podcast. I am Drew.
And my name is Brian. And today we had Gregory Raye in because him and Drew were part of this cool event.
It was called Smash the Skate. It was an event that we did for 4 years. And it was equal parts skate comp / music fest / fundraiser that benefited Mountain Dew Skate Park. And we just went over sort of the history of how that event came to be and how Gregory and I ran it and some of our favorite memories and whatnot. And it was a great time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for me because I had seen the Smash the Skate event. I hadn't ever been to one, but after listening to them today, unfortunately, you said you might not do it this year. It depends. It's all up in the air at this point.
We're not going to do it.
All right. Well, it's all up in the air at this point, and it's a bummer because now that I've learned more about it, it's something I would 100% go to because it's not just punk, metal, awesome music from semi-local and you'll hear very far away bands. But it was, you had skate competitions with prizes. So even if you're not into that, you teamed up with Barge In Fest, and then the Tribune got involved. I mean, you'll hear all about it in the episode, but isn't that about right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good summary.
Yeah, and, just sitting there reminiscing about all the good memories from the event and some of the bands that we had over the years. And I might make a playlist on YouTube so you can check out some of the bands that played. And, it was just fun. And I was telling Brian about Gregory after we started recording this episode, because this is in post after the episode. But
right,
I was telling I was telling Brian about a favorite memory of mine from event planning for this that is just a perfect example of Gregory and him as a person. And anybody that's listening would be able to envision this perfectly. So one time, Gregory and I were in the early stages of planning for Smash the Skate, and we decided to get together at Sunset Park to sit down and sketch out some ideas. And I said, okay, that sounds awesome. And I show up, and I see Gregory.
He's at the park.
Waiting
for you.
With about 30 other people sitting crisscross applesauce in a circle.
All ready to plan Smash the Skate?
No, all ready to tie-dye some shirts. They're all tie-dyeing some shirts. And
you got a tie-dye shirt out of the deal anyway.
I did. I went home and I got a tie-dye shirt. But I immediately knew we were not doing any planning on the event. But that was a favorite memory of mine for as far as event planning goes for that event. And it just is emblematic, I feel like, of Gregory as a person and his connection to other people and his sort of just free-flowing way.
Yeah, he's a really neat guy, and he actually does a lot of events.
He does.
In the Valley. We often plug his Abundance.
Yep.
But he does those BYOV, Bring Your Own Vinyls.
Mm-hmm. And that's at Parejas,
he mentioned,
right?
Parejas generally. And he mentioned something about a new event company or something he was starting, right?
Yeah, I think he called it Engender. You'll have to listen to the episode because I don't recall the ins and outs exactly, but he does go into some detail about that in the episode, so definitely stick around and check that out.
Yeah, for sure. It was fun having him in. He's a character. I liked him. We tried some of my beer. He liked it, and that made me feel good.
Yeah.
Listen to the episode. Smash the Skate is cool. Maybe it won't happen this year, but if we pick up steam, maybe it'll happen again. And it sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but ultimately in the end, it was worth it.
Cool. Well, let's shoot over to some events happening this weekend.
Okay, looking at Friday, February 21st, we've got a few events here happening in the Valley. Looks like Pizza and Politics at Hot Shots Cafe in Lewiston, and that is happening at 6:30 p.m., and that's dealing exclusively on Idaho legislature, so that could be cool.
I feel like pizza and politics are like extremely opposite things.
Yeah.
Pizza's delicious and warm and makes you feel good, and politics just drive wedges. See, politics drive wedges, pizza is a wedge.
It's shaped like a wedge.
It's all connected.
And if you get mad, you could throw it at somebody.
All right, okay. Pizza and Politics, Hot Shot Cafe, 6:30. Sounds like an event.
I would go.
I'd go.
Then also happening that Friday, the 21st, that is, at 7 p.m., you can go check the Range Benders at Mystic Cafe in Lewiston. And as far as I can tell, those look like the two events that we're going to talk about for Friday, the 21st of February.
Yeah. Wait, there was one more, I think. But no, I don't. Oh, Daniel Faller's playing at Parejas. And there's a karaoke contest at the Stadium Sports Bar. Where is that? Is that here?
That's at the Clearwater River Casino.
Okay, cool enough. Karaoke contest. Oh, there's cash prizes for that. You know what? You might find Brian at the karaoke contest. Look at that. I don't know if I'll win, but maybe I can get second or third.
That wouldn't be bad.
No, that wouldn't be too bad. There's cash prizes. That's at the Clearwater River Casino. Heck, you may be able to find me at the karaoke contest.
Now, Brian doesn't like to curse often, so take note of him saying heck.
Did I say heck?
Big cusser guy.
Dude, Caitlin just said that I sound like a dad sometimes. And I said, what are you talking about? And then you just said, I said I was a happy camper.
Oh.
And yeah, I don't know.
Well, you are a dad, so.
Well, I've got it down.
All right.
Apparently, at least sounding like one. So Saturday, tomorrow, February 22nd, 7 p.m., Parejas Cellars. We've got Shania Raleigh. I think she plays about every weekend. Here, I'm going to throw a curveball at you because Casey Lee is playing on a Wednesday. Oh, this was 2 days ago, though, because the whole future thing. Well, Casey Lee played last Wednesday. Would have been pretty cool. Sorry, everybody. Man, I think that's about it. Also, I'm sorry if
Seaport Striders.
Seaport Striders. What's that?
It's a running group, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Seaport Striders, Edge of Hell Trail Run happening Saturday, February 22nd at 10 a.m. Registration and check-in same day. So show up at 9 if you're a runner and you want to do some running. Saturday, February 22nd is the day for you.
And that is at Hell's Gate State Park, and it looks like you're supposed to meet at the Jack O'Connor Hunting Heritage Museum.
That sounds like fun. I haven't ran in a while. I'd be pretty slow at it, but I like running.
I think I might die if I had to run any length of distance.
Yeah. And hey, look, if you had an event this weekend and we missed you and you want to be on the show, just send us an email. Henry Funk emails us. We should probably check that.
That looks like a cool event.
What's
Crossroads of our region, rivers, rails, and roads panel discussion.
Oh, at the library.
Yeah, that's happening at 1 p.m. at the Lewiston Public Library.
Man, the Lewiston Public Library seems like a really happening place.
It does.
Because what was the other thing? The agriculture thing happening there?
Yeah, that was, of course, on the Wednesday.
No, that was a couple days ago. But still, they're having a lot of cool stuff going on. So.
Yeah.
Check out your library.
Oh, yeah, and that reminds me, we are now on Stitcher for those listeners that listen on Stitcher, and Brian kindly uploaded all the episodes to YouTube as well, so you can check us out on there.
Yeah, definitely check us out on YouTube. That's been kind of fun. I just make super basic videos. I liked doing one with Jamie because she sent us a bunch of her art.
Yeah.
And I was able to have her pictures cycle through on the YouTube one. So I think you can find us just about everywhere now.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go to Gregory and hear you guys talk about Smash the Skate.
Let's do it.
Yeah. This was a great time. Like I said, I had a lot of fun having Gregory in, and we'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy the show.
Thanks.
No, I've been looking. It looks good, and I can hear you too.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know if I'll keep them on the whole time, but
Cheers for the beers, man.
Yeah.
This is good. Really tasty. Yeah. Thank you.
thank you.
Cheers. Cheers.
Welcome. I don't know if you like dark beers. But... Okay, good. You might like it then.
I love this.
Sweet. Well, there's options for you. Well, we've got Gregory Raye and Drew. You're a guest today. Drew is a guest, and we're talking about Smash the Skate.
Smash.
Gregory, why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you do and your life philosophy and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so wait. Well, I thought we only had an hour.
The abbreviated version.
Right.
Yeah.
Gregory Raye.
All day.
DJ from the Bay Area. Single father. And huge community interest. Love to try to create environments and things and places people can go to have fun and just I've been a part of a couple of local coalitions, Epic Coalition. I sit on the board at QBH. So just trying to be actively involved in the community is a huge proponent of who I am. And yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'm into graphic design. Got a background in skateboarding because my stepson is a pro skater. Well, in my mind, he's a pro skater. But River Latella, been a skater for many of years. So that kind of sparked my interest in this event. But yeah, that's kind of the long and skinny of it.
Cool,
And the
long
short
and
version.
skinny,
He's
short.
also an alpinist and an outdoorsman.
Okay, I guess I could talk about myself a little bit, but anyway, yeah.
So that's mountain climbing?
Yeah,
Or just
so I do a
hiking?
lot of mountaineering,
Mountaineering,
backpacking,
right.
rafting.
I like all those
kayaking.
things. I like going backpacking and rafting, and it's been a while because, like I said, I've got the kid that's year and a half, so I haven't gone in a year and a
Yeah.
half. But
Oh, you'll have your time.
hopefully this summer, I've got at least one trip planned to the Seven Devils. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, a friend of mine and I were just talking about the Seven Devils, how there's like crazy insect migrations there and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Butterflies and ladybugs.
Ladybirds. I like male birds too.
Yeah.
Ladybirds. Ladybird.
But I also host cyclists at my house. I've been doing that for the last 4 years.
Oh, when they're, you know what? I saw you at Hogan's one night, and I met one of those cyclists.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Cool.
he seemed really nice.
Yeah.
He was having a great time.
Yeah.
What are these cyclists? So they're usually on cross-country treks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like Portland to Portland, Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine.
Could have been
is one of
just
the
as
trips.
easily Lewiston to Lewiston. I don't know.
Yeah, could have been.
Well, they knock them both out. They could knock them both out. They could do the Portland, Lewiston to Portland, Lewiston.
Oh, wow.
Too much?
I'm writing that down. I'm going to save that. That's going to be a life. That's on the bucket list.
Moving on.
Yeah, right?
Well, that's cool. You host them at your house. How'd you get involved with that?
Through Warm Showers, the organization. And then I continued on to do my own thing, which is Gregory's Grotto.
Nice.
Which you can find on Facebook. It's kind of just a fun little thing I do for poops and giggles. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. And my now 13-year-old daughter, who's an amazing, aspiring artist, is also being inspired by these cyclists traveling the world and sharing their adventures with us. So it's just a kind of a cool experience all around. And being that we're on the Lewis and Clark Trail, I get a lot of that cross-country bicycling traffic. So it's kind of neat, yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. Mm-hmm. And you said you're from the Bay Area. When did you move to Lewiston, Clarkston?
In 2007, the summer of 2007.
All right.
I had visited previous times to that, but moved here officially in July of 2007. Got here actually the day, it was my daughter's first birthday when I got here.
All right.
It was like the night before, and then it was her birthday. And
Perfect.
we were here.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's coming from the Bay. Did some DJing out there for many, many years, and so I kind of semi-retired to come out here and raise my daughter.
Well, we plug every time you do an abundance. We plug it. So
Cool.
why don't you tell us a little bit about abundance, because that's something else that you do that we've been plugging, and people might be wondering what that is. And then I'd like to have Drew chime in and tell us how you guys met.
Cool. Yeah. Abundance is just one of a similar community style event. This one, in a nutshell, is an ecstatic dance, which is basically originated in more shaman practices where people will get together and drum or play music and just find a state of trance through the music. And you don't go there to talk. You don't go there to socialize. You
Sounds
just go
like
there
my
to
place.
dance. Yeah, and which is great because it creates a forum for people that have social anxieties, which you're seeing a lot of that nowadays. It can be crippling. So this environment, people could just show up and dance unencumbered, not worrying about who's who or who's doing what. And the people that we've met through this and are just ecstatic. Pun intended, they're like really into it because
awesome.
It's like, oh my gosh, I'll never go to a nightclub or a bar to go dancing because I can't handle that. But this allows me to do that. So yeah, and that's just one of some other fun little community projects that I got in the works. But Smash the Skate was definitely one of the most fun projects that I've ever worked on, community-wise. Again, all-inclusive, which, again, the abundance is the same. Kids welcome. We just did one Friday, and there was like 10 kids there and their parents, and it was great.
That's
good.
fun.
So.
Well, yeah, Smash the Skate. That's what we're here to talk about today, and that was put on by Drew and you, Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
So, Drew, how did you guys meet?
So Gregory and I met probably like 2012, somewhere in there at Tri-State Outfitters. We both worked there, and that kind of is a tie-in to our mutual love of the outdoors and just wanting to be able to make our jobs in that outdoor retail space. And we just became friends over the years doing that. And I recognized Gregory because, as he mentioned before, his son participated in skate comps and stuff like that around the area. And so I kind of loosely knew who Gregory was, and we just became buddies. And eventually some years passed, and Gregory and I both kind of left Tri-State, and I actually went back and was there till the end of Tri-State. R.I.P. But
no doubt.
Oh yeah, they're only in Moscow now.
Moscow, Moses Lake, and Coeur d'Alene.
I meant around here, but yeah.
Yeah.
We knew what you meant.
Oh, yeah, well, anyway. Moscow, yeah.
Yeah.
Coeur d'Alene, Tri-State.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Tri-State Outfitters. And where? Where do they have locations, Drew?
Those places previously mentioned.
All right, sorry. So you guys worked at Tri-State. You met each other. You love the outdoors.
Yeah.
Skateboarding.
Yeah. And so it was July, I guess it was way before that. It was probably like September of 2015, I think, was the year that we first started Smash the Skate. And I had some friends in Boise that were in this really great hardcore band called Ingrown. And they wanted to come up and play a show in Lewiston because they were playing a show July 2nd in Moscow, and they wanted to kind of hit both places. And I thought to myself, there's absolutely no way anybody's going to come watch your band play in Lewiston. So I started thinking of ideas of how can I make it like an event to entice people to go and make this a recurring thing where we can help celebrate the skate park, and I get to hang out with my friend Gregory again. So I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, that's really close to the 4th of July because I think our first year was supposed to be on 4th of July.
Yeah.
So I thought skateboarding, fireworks, and hardcore music, like what could be cooler than that? So I rushed to call Gregory because I knew Gregory was down to help out in any way with stuff like this, and he had a passion for skateboarding.
Huge. Absolutely, yeah.
So I told him my idea, and we sort of started sketching it out from there.
What was the other name that we came up with, or you came up with, and it was more 4th of July oriented?
Oh man,
Leak
I don't
it. Come on,
remember.
what was
I
it?
don't remember.
Oh, it was
we
good, though.
We had several names written down.
We might have to remember and
Pull those
record it and add it in there somewhere.
Gotcha. We can do that.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
We can
right.
do that. We have the power.
Podcast
you should see
magic.
the list of names we had for this one.
Oh man.
And my wife is still sad we didn't call it Valley Boys.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sad about it.
No.
Well, that's really cool. So this was born of a love of skateboarding and these punk guys wanting to come in for a show, and then just you melded your loves for those two things in this event.
Yeah, basically.
So how did you get the idea to make it a fundraiser? And
Well-
was it a fundraiser?
It was a fundraiser, and I think
Yep.
Gregory informed me that there was still a balance owed on the skate park, and so it
The
was
Mountain
just
Dew skate park on
Right.
Southway?
Snake River Ave. So it was just kind of a no-brainer at that point because we were like, okay, well, we have to do this. We have to raise money and pay this thing off. And it was an obtainable goal. It wasn't that much. I mean, it was just a few $1,000s.
Well, I think when we first started off, it was over $10,000.
Was it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was, however many years back. And Dan Proschel, who is a huge proponent of the skating community out here.
Right.
But Danny was like, they had the VSA, Valley Skate Park Association, at the
Right.
time, which is now disband.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
Dissolved.
but he mentioned it. He's like, yeah, oh, that's cool. You guys, and if I recall correctly, he mentioned that there was still money owed and that it would be easy to get all of the proper credentials to throw the event if we had it as a fundraiser. I think that was kind of his idea.
Yeah, because there was stipulations on who could use the space being the skate park, and how. We had to make it a nonprofit thing. We had to go through the city. We had to get a noise variance through the police department. We had to go through all these necessary channels to make it happen.
You can't actually reserve the skate park for an event. You technically can't, and we might not add this in the thing, but you can't actually reserve the space for any reason other than maybe that, and maybe not even that. I think it was kind of like, oh yeah, let's just do it, you know. And the city was like, we had a couple friends in the city, and they were like, this is cool. Let's just reserve it for you guys and make this happen.
Yeah, I think they could make special.
They made special accommodations,
right?
Mm-hmm. So that was awesome, you know, and a huge part of it. So yeah, thanks Tim Barker from the city of Lewiston, dude. That guy was huge advocate for it, and just he made things happen for us. We said, hey man, we need this. He was like, boom.
He did, and he also was willing to work with us year after year. I mean, I don't know how many lunches we had with him, planning and setting everything up.
Totally into it. So yeah, thanks a lot, Tim Barker and the city of Lewiston for being a part of that. Yep. Definitely.
And how many bands played that first year? Was it just the one?
No, so the first year we had, I want to say 12 bands play.
12.
And the bulk of those were from the Boise area. There were some from Walla Walla. There were some from Spokane, Moscow.
Did your band play?
We didn't. My band disbanded before that.
I see.
We were supposed to play and we didn't.
Well.
Yeah.
Won't scratch open that old wound.
Was that Dilaudid?
Dilaudid? No.
What was it? What was the name of the?
It's
no,
close.
I think it was
diazepam.
I was like, it's some drug.
It was Quaalude.
Yeah.
The Ludes.
Well, there's a hardcore band from the 80s called Gorilla Biscuits.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm thinking
That's
about
awesome.
starting one called Baby Aspirin, so.
There you go.
Dude, Baby Aspirin?
Yeah.
That could work. That could
work.
be
It really gets the blood flowing.
Death
does.
metal, right?
It does.
Death metal.
Well, yeah.
No.
It's death metal with baby sounds.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's good in small doses.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I see you
Baby
guys
doses.
have some flyers and stickers. Maybe we'll take some sweet pictures of those and post them up on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. But where did you get all your flyer and sticker stuff done? I mean, are you guys graphic designers, either of you?
Well, I dab in design. I kind of mess around with it. But we actually had a lot of these. Well, actually, I did this year number 4. I did that. But a few of these worked on by designers from Fast Signs, which were Bo Wakefield. Please. Bo Wakefield, he did this one. And then...
we recruited Corbin to do the sort of agnostic front boots, but
Corbin did a couple
with Vans skate highs instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I had some of my buddies from all over the place do art. Nate Walters from Seattle area, he did one year. My friend Mars did one last year, and then the year before that, I want to say, I don't remember his name. He's from Spokane, but that's probably my favorite year. Year 2, I want to say this was. No, year 3.
For the art?
Yep.
Yeah.
That might have been
There was
my
some
favorite
good art.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how many years were you guys rolling on this?
4 years.
4 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've done it for 4 years. Two of which were paired up with the Barge In Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's kind of a good segue into the next thing we're going to talk about is how the event sort of evolved.
Yeah, because you've got this big banner here, and it's Smash the Skate Barge In. And
Right.
I've heard of the Barge In Fest, but I didn't know you guys were connected at least for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, so we combined our event with the Tribune's event, which was formerly called the Doc Concert.
Right.
And they had done that for a number of years before we sort of combined everything into this Barge In Fest. And at that time, I don't think that it included the Hogan's After Party, but we added in the Hogan's After Party.
Yeah.
So it became an event where over the course of this day, you could go to the Capitol Street dock concert at the Tribune physical location, or you could come see us at the skate park, and then afterwards you could wrap up the day at Hogan's
For the after party.
for the after party.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
And
it
the-
was awesome.
The first year, I thought the coolest thing about Bargain was the trolley.
Yeah.
Gary Bush donated his trolley to shuttle
you,
people
Gary.
back and forth.
yeah.
Oh, cool. That's Gary Bush of Gary Bush, the what is that, the underground
The
something?
Ghost Tours.
Ghost
yeah.
Tours, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, we'd like to have him on someday too.
Yeah.
Oh, he would be a great
Yeah.
person to have on here. But yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, and it was kind of neat because you could use the levee as a little system to get to and from on your bike or walk if you wanted to. So that was a really cool little collaboration we did between.
Anytime there's transportation at an event like this, it just really steps it up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely. Yep.
Yeah, and some people even rode their bikes to and from. It was easy access. Capitol Street dock right there on the 5th Street Bridge. You could take the bridge over and take the levee right over to the skate park. And
Yep.
in fact, that's what these banners were for, is to kind of highlight the entrance to the events. And,
Oh, cool.
and there were other partners that were a part of the collaboration too, like the Center for Arts and History.
Right.
They did a pop-up station as part of the event, and my beloved friend Kelsey Grafton did some custom graphics for T-shirts.
Which were amazing.
Killer graphics, yeah. And at one year, she had 3 different stations throughout the Bargain Festival. And in order to get the complete T-shirt, you had to go to all the different
Oh, cool.
stations. You had to go to the one at the Capitol Street dock. You had to go to the one at Center for Arts and History, and then you eventually had to end up at Smash the Skate. So it was a really good way to kind of tie the event together,
Yeah.
and get a sweet custom tee out of it.
And that tradition of getting your shirt screen printed started with Smash the Skate.
Yep.
Because we had the on-the-fly screen printing station.
right on site. Yep.
Yeah, at year 1. And then we kind of spread it out throughout the fest after that.
Smash the shirt.
Smash the shirt.
That's so awesome.
It
That
was
would be
cool.
neat. You could just get a shirt screen printed right
Oh,
there.
skaters were taking their sweaty shirts off and printing them right there on the spot. I mean, it wasn't
Wow.
ideal, but it was happening. Yeah,
Well-
it was cool. Yeah.
That sounds sweet, though.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a killer collab for sure.
Yeah.
So this went for 4 years, you said. Is there going to be a 5th year?
Well, I think at this juncture we're gonna kind of call it
Well,
quits.
I guess.
Yeah,
why don't you
that's
tell
a
me
good
how
question.
how it evolved from year 1 to year 4? Because you said you had 12 bands the first year and
Yeah.
1 screen printing, and then it kind of spread out, and you got all this.
Yeah. So, like Gregory was saying, the first 2 years we kind of just were running and gunning by ourselves as 2 guys collecting all this.
Seems like every year we were doing
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, we were.
I mean, pretty much. It
Which
was
is
a,
part
it
of
was
the
a two-man
reason-
show.
Which is part of the reason why we're not gonna do it for 2020 is just because it's a lot of work for just 2 people.
Yeah.
But the first couple of years, it was just us, and we just sort of picked the band. Well, I mean, every single year, I picked bands that I really liked that I felt like I could convince to come up here and play. So we had bands from all over the West Coast. We had bands from as far as Denmark. We had just a litany of different bands, but they're all playing.
How'd you get a band from Denmark?
They were on tour
Oh,
in the U.S.
That was
where were they
lucky.
that you
was
convinced
so
them to
sweet.
slide over?
They're coming up from Boise.
Okay,
Yeah,
It's
and it
not
just
bad.
happened to line out perfectly because they were going to be in the Seattle, Portland area, so they were just looking to fill a date in between, and this was perfect. But my basic premise for this whole thing was I wanted to invite in different perspectives through punk and hardcore music, because for me, growing up, skateboarding and punk rock and hardcore were just it. That's what helped me get my worldview. That's what helped me get my understanding
And
of
it
everything.
still is for kids here in the valley.
Yeah, and I wanted to present the opportunity for younger kids to be able to hear that and see that firsthand, because it's obviously something that's not going to happen most of the time in a town this small. So I just invited bands that I liked, with the promise of a hotel room and some food, which we got donated. I couldn't pay them anything because it was a fundraiser, obviously, but I mean, that was one of the coolest things about this, and one of the most humbling experiences of the whole thing was that we could invite these bands that would otherwise be playing in major cities to probably hundreds of people that are all there to mosh and really dig on the music, to come up here and play for people that otherwise had never heard of their band, had never seen somebody hardcore dancing or moshing, and were basically there for skating. They were willing to come up here and do this for free, just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And that's the spirit of the event. In my
It
opinion.
is, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was not it was great that we were able to raise money over the years for the skate park, totaling the sum of somewhere in between $3,000 to $4,000, but or more. I haven't actually looked at the figures, but for the bands to come out and just do it for the fun, and that's where my heart was, and a lot of the skaters, were like, just let's get out there and have a skate.
Yeah, and understanding that we're trying to build a community of like-minded people that are open-minded and tolerant of everybody and their experiences and understanding. Because again, I just feel like that's a perspective that is sometimes lacking, and it's something that is really important to instill into younger people, especially at this formidable age when you can rebel and be a shithead and, really become a jerk, or you could be a really cool person that's
Well, even Jordan Peterson tells people to stay away from skateboarders and leave them alone. So if a guy like that could leave skateboarders alone and be tolerant of them, you got to imagine there's...
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've talked about the bands that have played, but there was a whole skate competition. So, like, who were some of the skaters, if you remember? Did your stepson do it? And do you remember any of the winners, or what were some of the prizes? Tell me about the skate competition portion of it.
So that was kind of my part of the collaboration, every year I would reach out to different businesses, Zoomies included. They helped us out on a store level and never really pulled their heads out of their corporate butts because of whatever issues. But the local managers kind of helped us out, gave us discounts on gear, and a lot of stuff came from out of pocket on my end, especially the last couple of years. But
we both had to end up just buying stuff.
Yeah. It was hard to get people to fund the event just because they didn't see the ROI on it. They didn't really see like, oh well, if I put my business up on your banner, it's a skate comp, and so you've got a lot of punks and skaters.
Well, who's
it's
buying
not our
their
demographic,
stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyway, so it was hard to get sponsorships. Is basically where I'm going with that. So we would, I would just work on getting together prizes and helping promote the event. Drew did a good job of putting some fun stuff on Instagram and on Facebook, kind of managing the Facebook content. And creating an event for skaters. We did advanced, intermediate, and beginner comps. Mm-hmm. I think we might have skipped one of the levels, the third year maybe. Maybe we just did advanced and intermediate or something like that.
Yeah, it was difficult to get
the beginner comp
together.
Yeah. So I think every year though we gave away like a skateboard to a kid or something like that.
We had awesome prizes.
Yeah. We always managed to get.
We also got local support from the now defunct Covey's Skate and Board or Bike and Board.
Oh yeah,
Covey's Bike and Board.
Oh,
Huge.
Covey's Bike and
Shout
Board.
out to Justin Covey.
Right.
Definitely big shout out to Justin Covey.
We got support from Fallout's Mountain Sports as well.
Yep.
Neat.
Yep. Those guys helped out. They actually Fallout's donated some skateboards. Couple years actually, they made some donations. So that was
Quinn's skate shop wasn't around at this point. I don't think were they?
No, and we always tried to get in touch with Marla, and
she was awesome.
Huge shout out to Marla.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Dude.
I mean, I bet all of us just spent
be-
countless hours in there. Just
I wouldn't
looking
be the
at
person
stuff
that I am without having spent time at Quinn's.
so much time.
In a nutshell, they're the foundation of a lot of this effort.
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't have got into skateboarding. I wouldn't have got into punk or hardcore. I wouldn't have got into anything that I'm still interested into today without Quinn's.
Yeah.
And like just having those experiences when it was too hot to skate, just going in and hanging
Just
out at
shredding
Quinn's
and sweating. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Getting a burrito and a can of pop and just checking out all the new stuff that she would get and daydreaming about, I'm going to get this next. I'm going to get that next.
What a hole that place was, man. It was so
It was
pumped.
perfect.
It was so good.
It was
Yeah.
perfect. It was
Yeah.
glorious in all
Yeah,
of its
wasn't it
ways.
though?
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Both locations.
I still see her out and about. We'll catch each other at a thrift store every once in a while and just give her a big hug and make sure she's doing okay. And she's that woman's. She's a strong woman. She's done some incredible things in her life.
Unbelievably hard
yeah.
worker.
Yeah, huge. So yeah, but lots of amazing skaters from all over.
Yeah.
What was it?
Any skaters from Denmark?
No.
No?
Did they skate at all?
No.
No. Okay.
Sorry.
Because a lot of the band members were also skaters.
Yeah.
In several of the different bands.
Well, Jackson from By All Means last year, I think, took second in the advanced comp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year, we had a punk band from Boise that took first place last year, and
All right.
zip mouth.
I was
mouth
wondering
is.
if I was wondering if that was going to come up.
But previous
Someone
years,
won last year from Boise. Is that what you said?
moving right along. Yes. One of the band members from one of the bands we hosted. I don't care to share their name, but they took first place last year.
I heard
Somewhat
I don't
controversial.
know. I don't know if you guys had some theft, some vandalism occur.
We did.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Did you end up
it
getting
was
all that
unfortunate.
stuff back?
No,
No.
not yet.
I imagine it's in a dumpster.
No. Those banners were badass.
They were
if they
cool.
dumped them, it's because they're afraid. But
Yeah. I don't know.
I've been in touch with the perpetrators and continued communication, and they still have them and are willing to give them back. We're just they're a broke ass punk band, so they can't send them to us,
Unfortunate.
Yeah, but
What were prize packages like, though?
Yeah.
Because we
Oh,
had
yeah.
awesome prizes.
oh yeah, so for all the different competitions, again, skaters from all over the place. We had big crews come. We had people come from Walla
Moscow,
Walla,
Pullman,
Moscow,
Walla
Pullman,
Walla,
Boise,
Seattle.
Yep. There was that one crew that came from. What was it? Boise. The whole crew just
They're
came
from
and just-
Spokane.
Spokane.
They
That's
crushed
right.
it.
Just stormed the
Yeah.
whole. Like took first and second and maybe third and just crushed the competition. And super good, super cool kids. And we were able to prize them up with complete boards and so like the first place advanced competition, they would get like a complete board, sticker pack, probably some other peripherals like some wax and maybe a tool or shirt if we had shirts at the time, and then it would just kind of trickle down from there. Maybe second place would get like a deck and some wheels. Where we were throwing out bearings like candy, so that was kind of cool. Wax was
Trucks.
getting tossed around. Yet some of the lucky contestants would get trucks, the more expensive prizes.
And we also had
Helmets. We were advocating
helmets.
for safety, and we'd put some helmets out there. Yeah.
And we also had the best trick comps, too, in between the main skate comps.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'd throw out some bearings or some wheels for quick best trick.
Yep.
Just kind of pop up quick tricks. We even did a year or maybe 2 years where we had miniature skate competition
decks.
with tech decks.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And so I've been collecting tech deck sets for a couple of years now. So I've got some cool ramps and some cool features and some staircases and like a legitimate like wooden tech deck half pipe with like metal coping and everything. So we did a couple of fun tech deck skate comps.
Yeah.
That was cool. But and then we have like Inland Cellular. They were a big part of it as far as some swag and stuff. They would kick us sunglasses and different things that we could pass out during the event or augment some of the prize packages with them.
And they brought down their trailer a couple times.
Yep. Yeah, so they were helpful. They were definitely big on trying to promote the event and get involved. They've always done a really good job on being involved in the community and stuff. So
that was
thanks
another
Kaylee Dry and Inland Cellular
definitely.
for sure.
And that was another evolution of the event is the food vendors that we got. You want to talk about some of the different food vendors that came out?
That was tough, man.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was like pulling teeth to get people to show up at the skate park. They're like, punk rock, skate comp, sounds like people are going to be broke. And,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
it was difficult to find
There's just
somebody
this
that
negative
made
stigma.
Well, it was tough to find somebody that made food that would be at a price point that
Sure.
like a 15 to 18-year-old kid would have
Skater, you know,
in his pocket.
Yeah, $4 or $5, he could eat something yummy and maybe even get a soda out of the deal. You know?
So who ended up coming then?
So we had Lil Man's Donuts came one year, sold some sweets and some donuts, and they did pretty good. They said we had Lucy's Tacos. She came through.
Yum.
Yeah. Oh my God, so yum. Her food's so amazing.
The lingua I could eat that all day.
Yeah. Right. But she didn't bring her little trailer, so she brought a truck full of equipment to set up like a pop-up shop.
Sweet.
Brought refrigerator out and everything. And they went through a lot of trouble to get out there and make it happen. And yeah, that was really nice of them. And they did okay. They wish they would have done better, but it was good to have them at the event. And then there was some sort of candy shack. Gosh, I can't remember their name offhand, but.
When we had Lemon Boss one year, a couple years actually,
Yep.
and they actually donated a lot to the event.
Yeah, Lemon Boss, she was instrumental, definitely a huge help, and everybody was drinking the lemonade. It was good lemonade for sure.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, yep. And then we'd do we just go and buy a bunch of pizzas and sell slice of pizza or pizza and a pop for $3 or whatever. And
We got a lot of donations through our connection with Dan from Pepsi, and they would give us some free beverages to sell
every
as well.
year.
Sounds like a lot of local businesses chipped in on this.
They did, yeah.
And people.
Yeah, it was a fundraiser, and again, Pepsi was Idaho Beverages helped out a huge ton every year. We'd go down there and just
Between
pick up
ice
a
and
Subaru
beverages
full or a van full of.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. We'd even get our ice from there. Yeah, and we'd grab our coolers from River City Church every year. Who my brother-in-law or ex-brother-in-law, I guess I should say technically, Moses Latella. He would let us borrow these huge marine coolers, and we would go to Pepsi and fill them up with their ice machine there. So we had
cool.
ice, and Albertsons let us store the ice. I think 1 or 2 years,
Which was
so
cool.
We had it ready to go.
Yeah.
Another part of that whole connection, Knox Concrete right across the street.
Yeah.
They would store all of our cases of beverages right across the street from the skate park, so that when we were ready to grab them, we could just run right across the street, grab them, and bring them over to the event. And so, thanks Knox Concrete for that. That was huge. But that was a big part of the fundraising, is selling drinks at the event. Obviously, the skaters and bands, we would take care of them and keep everybody hydrated. Water was typically free if you couldn't afford it. We didn't it wasn't like we were like,
Yeah, $3 a bottle.
the key was having fun.
Well, and the thing of it was too is the event went from 10 a.m. some years until 10
10
p.m.
to 10 or even later.
Yeah. So staying hydrated was key because
Yeah, that's a
man.
long
I mean,
day.
it's the
And
peak of
it
summer.
happened in the summer,
Yeah,
right?
right. Yeah.
like the hottest time of summer.
Now, did you always do it on July 4th, or did that date kind of...
It fluctuated, so we always tried to kind of do it the weekend after 4th of July, after the first year.
Yep.
Yeah. And that in and of itself was kind of difficult to figure out when we should do it because it was nice weather and there was tons of events happening, so we didn't want to
People are
conflict.
out of town.
Yeah, and
Well,
we didn't
that's
want to
actually a
conflict
good
with other
weekend
events.
because most people, well, I guess maybe a lot of people don't go out of town for 4th of July, but a lot of people do, and so they're
Some
usually
are, some
home the
aren't.
next
So
weekend.
it's
I
just
guess.
kind of an interest. Yeah, it's kind of tricky.
And that was part of another reason why Barge In became what it was, because we just wanted to absorb all of these events into one thing instead of trying to compete for
Yeah.
you know, all these different spaces, just make it one big
And that was
thing.
years 3 and 4, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. One year, you and I were talking about a date, and then I was looking at conflicting events, and I was like, oh well, I think Capitol Street Dock concert's kind of around that time, so we probably don't really want to do it the same day. And then I was like, or do we? And then I was like, oh, and then so I reached out to Nathan Alford with the Tribune, and then boom, we were like, all right,
Yeah.
but let's barge in.
Yeah, and we started having weekly meetings to firm up everything and get the ball rolling on this new event that would become Barge In with the help of Courtney Kramer from beautiful downtown Lewiston. I think she actually named the event. And yeah, it was just a really cool thing. The first year was kind of difficult because I was in Ecuador for a month doing undergrad research. And so we were trying to coordinate everything the month leading up to Smash the Skate
yeah.
while I was out of country. And so that made it a little bit tricky, but it worked out.
Nah, it did. It worked out. It was a cool collaboration for sure, and so many other people that were involved, and you know, designers of the Tribune, and it was cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
had a great time.
And you're not coming back for a 5th year.
Not as of now.
Not now.
Yeah,
What would why not? You said it was a lot of work for 2 people.
I just think at this point, you know, we've kind of decided that maybe it's time to pass the reins off to somebody else, and see what somebody else can do with it and what their passion is in terms of music or how they want to set up and structure the competitions and
Is that
prizes.
already happening? Is someone else taking the reins?
It might be.
It's in the talks.
In the works?
I mean, it's been in the talks for 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, so but it's the challenges is like, for me, it was like I was working a full-time job. I was with Fast Signs, who also was a big contributor. They donated at least $200 or more per year towards a budget for like these stickers and banners and things like that. They did all this printing. But I'm no longer with them now. So like I've got bandwidth, and Drew and I were joking because it's like, well, I'm unemployed now, so I have more time now. So it seems a little bit more, you know, plausible. But
Right.
At the same time, it was just so burnt out. I'm so burnt out from it, you know. It was just, but ultimately, the Valley needs to have a skate competition. It has to.
If it doesn't happen this year, then we'll probably resurrect it next year
Right?
because we just have to.
Be like,
all
what the
right.
heck,
Well, I was
man?
going to say, what would it take to bring you back? But that
Yeah.
kind of answered that question.
I mean, that could very well be the thing. I mean, I already have, without giving away too much, I already have kind of a little small side project in the works. There's always been little small pop-up skate competitions, you know, but Slingshot, there's a local band, and they're also all local skaters, and
They played Smash the Skate last year.
Yep, shredded it. They were cool. But those guys have interest in kind of taking the torch a little bit, but again, everybody's working full-time jobs. They're in a band now, so it's just like, you know,
Getting stretched a little thin.
yeah. So it's tough, but there'll definitely be at least one small pop-up, you know, maybe give away a board or two or something like that.
Neat.
I think I've got a couple helmets left over from last year, you know, some sticker packs.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't take much to resurrect it if we got some support and some people. I mean, that's just, I speak for myself. But
That's definitely what I feel like we were lacking in our efforts to
Yeah.
make it happen, was just if we would have had a few more pairs of hands and people willing to do some of the legwork that we needed to get done. Because it's just like you said, I mean, you're a dad. You had a full-time job. I had a full-time job. I was doing 18 credits of school, internships.
right.
And, you know, we wanted to maintain our social lives, which Gregory has a great social life that I'm envious of.
Don't be.
I never leave the house. Yeah, so it was just trying to juggle all of those things, and it just made it really difficult to do the necessary planning.
Yep.
If you're interested in helping with Smash the Skate, send an email to oldspiralpodcast@gmail.com, and we will put you in touch with the correct people.
Boom. There it is.
Absolutely.
Resurrect the skate.
Yeah, if you don't email, it won't happen. So come on, people.
And I mean, we talk about how it's a lot of work, But it was also a lot of fun.
It
And I
was-
mean, it was
way
Well, that
more
was the
fun
whole
than it was
point,
work
right?
because
Was just to have.
we kept coming back.
Yeah.
And we would beat ourselves up. And at the end of it, we would be exhausted.
Oh man, we'd be at the skate park for nearly 24 hours.
Just like zombies,
Yeah.
moving equipment around, just like,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know.
And you know, it was tough because at the end of the day, Gregory would have to, you know, pack stuff up while I would go get the bands into their hotel room. Then I would come back and we'd pack stuff up. And
Yep.
you're just exhausted and trying to figure out where everything is, what ended up in whose car.
Oh
and-
my God, what a mess sometimes.
Oh yeah. But it's not to say that if somebody wanted to do something like this that you shouldn't because of the work. I mean, you should just do it. It's
So worth it.
It's
Yeah, well,
well
what
worth
would you
it.
guys? What kind of advice would you give someone who's wanting to do this event or one like it in the future?
I think the biggest thing is just overcoming the fear of like I can't do it or it's too big of scale or nobody's going to want to come play because honestly all you have to do is reach out to a band on social media, reach out to a business and say, "Hey, can you support me?" And the worst that they can do is say no.
Yeah, right.
And you move on. You find other people that do want to help out. And, you know, find your friends that, you know, have a good work ethic and want to try hard and make something cool. Because it's like we were talking about on the last episode with Jamie Laws. If something doesn't exist, you should make it yourself.
That's right.
And that's sort of the whole essence of hardcore punk and skating in and of itself is I'm bored and I don't need other people to entertain me. I'm going to go out and do this myself.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, just go out and connect with people that share your same passions. And whether it's something like this or something totally different, if you want to make a fly fishing club or a knitting circle or whatever it is, just go do it. I mean,
Yep.
it's worth it in the end. We've got years of memories to look back on now.
Yep. Fond memories
Yeah.
and smiles all around for sure. I mean, even when I was, you know, sunburnt and weathered and tired, I was still smiling and goofing and laughing. And it was, I mean, there was one year even where like I did, it was kind of an experiment. I did Smash the Rave. And so at 10 o'clock.
It still kind of creeped me out.
Yeah.
Remember that? When
Oh,
we were
the
talking-
music?
Yeah.
So apparently Drew is afraid of dark electronic techno, like a techno music.
It reminded me of like when I was like little and you'd watch like Triple X or I think it was Triple X, the scene where they're like
With
in
Ice
this
Cube?
weird like no, it
With
was
Vin Diesel?
Yeah,
Oh, it was
and they're
Vin
in like
Diesel?
this
Okay.
weird European dance club thing or like Blade.
What about, or like the Matrix?
Yeah, similar to that.
when he goes in, follows the white
Oh,
rabbit.
Blade, the dance club.
I
scene
know
in
your
Yeah.
Blade.
weakness.
Yeah.
That's a good. Actually, that's a good
Never
track.
remember
That's a dark techno track for sure. Yeah.
It kind of creeped me out. It was reminiscent of that. for me.
But oh my god. So yeah. So
I
my
guess
night.
the Matrix was Rob Zombie, so that doesn't really fit, does it?
Kinda. I
don't know.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah,
He's in
Rob
a
Zombie was
similar
kinda
vein,
techno-y
right?
Sometimes,
sometimes.
and
He
it
could
was
hit
dark, and I would agree. Yeah. But like my night started at 10 o'clock,
yeah.
10 p.m.
Uh-huh.
You know, my day started. I mean, the day is done, and I started a whole nother mission at 10 o'clock. We brought all the DJs out.
And where
set
was
up
that at?
Sound system. It was at the skate park,
Okay.
and we ended up.
You had a light show,
raving.
too.
Huh?
You had a light show too, and like all this
Yeah,
other stuff.
lights
Yeah.
and sound. We had lights in trees, and so like we created this kind of like mystical wonderland, and almost like you were at a like Paradiso or something like that for a second in downtown Lewiston.
That's awesome.
But we went till like 4 or 5 in the morning. Raved. We raved there at the skate park.
And
Booming.
and you just did that once?
Just did it once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not worth you want.
And that was kind of the fun of it too, was finding these creative little things to add in.
Uh-huh.
Like when we had that, it wasn't a competition, but it was just basically like inviting people to come down and do chalk art on the levee.
Yeah.
To like tell people, hey, Smash Skate is this way, and
There's
some
some
of the
pictures
stuff that
floating
people
around,
made
yeah.
was just amazing.
My friend Vernita and her friend, I can't remember his name, but they did this huge like mural, Smash the Skate mural.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was really cool. Yep. And let's see what else. There was all kinds of little. We did the photo booth thing with the gorilla.
Yeah. My buddy Andrew Edlin at Monroe Street Tattoo did some artwork for us one year, and he made this gigantic gorilla head that was like smashing a skateboard. And
Nice.
Gregory made a big vinyl poster that we cut a spot out in the mouth of the grill
Yeah.
where you could stick your head through and
Yeah.
get your picture taken, and it said "Smash the skate."
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention your mascot, Max.
yeah,
Your dog
Oh, yeah,
was a
dude.
little bit of a mascot.
Terrier.
Max
Who
the
was
mascot.
who did that artwork?
So Max, or a Bull Terrier, got done in some rendition a few different times. So the first year was just a picture that I took of him, and then the second year, I had a buddy from Spokane that did a Bull Terrier in a leather jacket, and he's got like a little Grateful Dead pin on his jacket, and that one was probably one of my favorites. And then, like I said, a friend Mars did the one last year, and she did it after her Bull Terrier, which is named Pokey. Rest in peace. He was an awesome dog from all accounts. But yeah, I mean, we just found different ways to include him. And another reoccurring theme that we had for design was video game stuff. So
Yeah, I see the fourth year's Tony Hawk's
Yeah,
Pro
Yeah.
Skater, the PS PlayStation logo.
yeah,
Yeah,
And,
that was
like-
kind of my thing. I was like, okay, what iconic video game can I rip off
that one.
every year? Just
And the first year, I was like, oh, it'd be sick if we had the Street Fighter font, but it had it say "Smash the Skate." So we had our buddy Kevin Beeson airbrush a big poster.
that was second year.
Second year, yeah,
because it was
said
the
"Smash the
iconic
Skate
Street
2."
Fighter 2,
Yeah.
which is like one of the most iconic video games ever,
Yeah.
and very recognizable font
Yep.
or type. And Kevin Beeson with River City Church, who River City Church was a huge contributor the second year. He made the banner, which was well over $800 to $1,000 worth of work. I mean, he really put some effort into it. They also donated $800 to the event.
And staffing.
And staffing. Yeah.
And I had mixed feelings about it just because I'm not a religious person, but they were super cool in their approach. They didn't want any pub at all for their church.
Yep.
They didn't want any recognition for donating. They
Yep.
were just there to help out.
Yeah,
which
that's
was
the way to go.
Really cool.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was awesome. And so they were a huge, like I said, component there. Now I think they're holding service at CHS, so go check them out if you are religious. But yeah, so we did. Let's see. God, what was the first year? Second year was Street Fighter 2. Third year was Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
Fourth year was
Which was
Smash the Skate 4.
the game in which the Mario brothers could fly, right?
Yeah,
we
so
did-
it was the basically the cover of the game.
Yeah.
And you'll see it. It's so instead of Mario as the little raccoon guy flying, we butchered it, and he's basically Christ Air Mario.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yep. Yeah.
And we'll post all these pictures. We'll take pictures of these and post them up online for everyone to
good.
see.
God, what was year one? They were all what the
I
heck?
think it was just a picture of Max against a brick wall.
All right.
I think. I
I-
can't remember.
Yeah. Video game sticker. Maybe I didn't do. My
We didn't
video
do.
game
No,
sticker
there was
the
no
first
video
year.
game sticker the first year.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
But we got some fun stuff. Yeah. There was some good themes in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it was really cool. And I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that we're forgetting about. Like right now, I'm looking at this kind of color crayon competition thing that we had that Gregory threw together for the kids, the really small kids. That was a Smash the Skate design. We had a coloring competition to see who could come up with the best skateboard design.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun. We
So-
did a lot of kid stuff.
Yeah, and again, it was just an attempt to make it inclusive for anybody that wanted to come. And
Bubble blowing station, coloring.
yep,
We did, what else did we did? Yeah, the chalk. A couple other fun little activities for the kids.
yeah. And at one point we wanted to have, and it never came to fruition. So if you do this event, you should contact Skate Like a Girl, the Seattle chapter. We wanted them to come out and teach kids how to do some basic stuff like ollie. And they're a great organization, and it would be really cool to get them involved at some level if we do this again or not, to have them come out and show the kids a few things.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we had a lot of really good support from some older skateboarders in the valley. Marvin Reininger, Chris Johnson, both judged, I think, every year.
Yeah. And Dan
Chris-
Prossel again.
Yeah, Marvin might have missed a year or two. Dan came down for a few. He's now in Portland. Miss you, Dan. And then we would take the advanced skaters would judge the intermediate or beginner comps, and yeah, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, thanks guys, thanks Marvin and Chris for your time.
Yeah, and thanks to the Tribune for helping us out and including us in the Bar Gin Fest that would later come to be. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, super fun. Yep, absolutely.
Well, is there anything you guys want to add? Special memories, events? Gregory, how could people get a hold of you? Because you still host events today. So how can people find those events that you host? Is that on Facebook?
Yeah, so if you find Engender on Facebook.
Engender,
Engender, Engender. Yep.
Okay.
So that's kind of something I'm trying to start. And happy to find some people that want to be liaisons for it and administrators. It's the meaning of the word, it's to kind of rise up and create, and so hoping to take Engender to new heights with creating community events, celebrating community events, promoting all of that, and so that's kind of one way. Obviously. On the social channels, that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. Yep, definitely. Gregory Raye.
There you go. Yeah, you're not hard to find on Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you are. I don't know, because we're friends.
You're also
You might be.
do you have a separate page for DJ Moonray?
No,
No?
gosh, and so when I moved from the Valley, I was like, all right, I'm done DJing. This is, I've got, sex, drugs, and house music. I'm over it. But now so when I DJ here, it's all just word of mouth, and people like, oh, Gregory's a DJ, and then just kind of it just works out. And so I've done some weddings, and then I do all my private events.
I like your Pareja stuff, the vinyl, bring your own vinyl
BYOB.
stuff. Yeah, that's always awesome.
Yeah, that's super fun at Pareja Cellars, and I'm going to move that event around a little bit too. Just like the Ecstatic Dance Abundance and BYOB, all those different events. I want to try to start moving them around the Valley a little bit to create more exposure for other businesses and just kind of spread the vibes a little bit, and just have fun at the same time. Yep.
Well, cool. Drew, you have anything else to add?
Nope, I think that's it.
Man.
Thanks everyone for listening.
Well, thanks, Gregory, for coming in and doing this with us. It was a lot of fun.
This is cool, Old Spiral podcast, guys. This is rad.
Thanks.
I've been curious about some of Drew's side stuff, and I know that he said that he had some cool stuff in the works. And
well, we did last week
Here it
was
is.
last week was Jamie Laws. The
Yeah.
week before was fly fishing, and then so I brewed beer. Obviously, you tried some of my beer.
Yeah,
and
good beer, Brian.
Thank you. It's on record.
Yeah.
But so I did one where we talked about brewing, just like simple, kind of where does it come from? How do you go from barley to beer? And then the week after was Drew talking about fly fishing, and no, we're definitely going to go fly fishing because that's one of Drew's hobbies. That was fun to listen to.
Yeah,
listen to him talk about fly fishing.
I'm too feeble and old to skate still, so fly fishing it is.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks everybody. Thanks Gregory for coming in.
Yeah. Smash the skate for sure. Yeah.
Forever.
For
Or
faux
not.
life.
Yep.
We should get the tattoo right here. This
You have
tattoo.
matching tattoos.
Oh yeah, and
Like I said before when we were recording the intro, I really wish that I had gone to these Smash the Skate events.
It was fun, man.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I was usually pretty stressed.
Well,
the day of.
you guys worked a lot on it.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a good time, but
It was neat hearing how the community kind of came together. How you could get your ice from Pepsi, store it at Albertsons, and then keep your drinks across the street at the concrete company.
yeah, and it was just cool to see a bit of altruism happening and people just laying down their pride and their ego and giving up their time and in some cases their money to help us with this event. And it was just really eye-opening to see people in town want to contribute and help to something that they don't necessarily care about or are involved in, but they're willing to do it anyway. It was really cool, really a humbling and neat experience.
Well, it's one of those stories that makes me happy that I live in the place that I do. I mean, there's a lot of really great people in this valley. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, again, we try to stay positive on this show. Of course, there are horrible people in this valley too, but Absolutely. You're going to find those people everywhere. So it's nice just having a story where the community came together for something like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And it kind of reinstilled some hope that I had for the town and for the people that I live around, because I do sometimes have a jaded perspective of this little valley and you know what I think the average person is here, and it's not always the case.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Yeah. Well, it was fun having Gregory in. I can't wait to get more great guests. Man, excuse me. Man, we have a lot of great topics. We came up with another like 10 or so ideas today just
we did
talking with Gregory and his friend and man, it's a good time. I can't wait to keep going. I'm glad we got this little podcast chugging.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for all the listeners out there. If you're listening, hello. I bet you my dad's listening. I'm going to say, hey, Dad. Caitlin's
shout out to
dad.
Brian's dad.
Yeah,
shout out to Caitlin's dad.
Might be listening. He listens on the reg.
Shout out to Miss Funk.
Yeah.
She listened to our last episode and gave positive feedback.
Yeah, and either someone out there is using a VPN or we had an Argentinian listener.
That's true.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Probably a VPN. But anyway, we're just really grateful for everybody. And I don't know. Stay tuned for our next episode.
Thanks, everybody.